What is up, everybody? Spidey here, and as always, I hope you're having a marvelous day. It's Saturday morning. We've got a really fun show for you. We're going to be unboxing Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns, Marvel Masterpieces. We have some really special guests up next. What is up, my friends? How is it going this morning?
How you doing, Justin?
Hello.
Look, I know that if you've been around the channel for a while, you're familiar with our friend Dylan. Look at that. Pointed to the correct side. That's awesome. And you likely know Andre Meister. Did I say your last name correct, by the way?
Yes, you did. Well, most people may get that wrong, so I'm very happy about that.
Hey, look, I cannot brag about getting names correct because I get them wrong all the time. I don't do well with new words that I haven't heard and read and pronounced already, but super happy that I got your name. And not that you need an introduction, but everybody, Andre Meister. I want to say the preeminent artist for Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns, because I think you did the most cards for the original art for Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns. Can you confirm if that's true?
I don't know if I did the most of them, but I know that I did all the ultra shades cards, because I don't know what happened, but I think that there was a couple of illustrators that were not able to be there. I don't know why, but they kept asking me and they kept liking it. So I say, okay, do you want to do more? I said, okay, I want to do more. And so they asked me to do more.
Here's an example.
Oh,
and
you got
your signature. I got to sign one. Here's another one. I wish I had all of them, but I don't. There's Ghost.
Nice.
Yeah, I really love those. And really appreciate the signature that you created for that.
How'd you like it? It was a kind of I was worried about that because I didn't want to use my check signature, first of all, because I don't want anybody copying that. And second, that, it has to look good. And, and I always see those artists with cool signatures. So I had a friend who's a designer who helped me come up with this. So I'm very happy about that.
Dude, love the intentionality, and it does something. It creates something when you're intentional. That's really special. Thank you for that. Because I know it's a lot of cards, dude. I can't imagine what it looked like to try to find a space to spread them out and go through and sign them.
And you have that. It's a difficult thing to get it right all the time, especially when you're in the first or you
don't get to redo it, right? Like when you do it, it's there.
Yeah. And these pens that they send you, they just your market is there. Unless you put your finger on it, so it's gonna be a mess. So you can't make a mistake,
Well, and they're numbered, so you don't get to make a mistake and So we want the
it did happen once or twice, but they were kind enough to correct.
I can only imagine that it does, and but we appreciate that. It is certainly something that the community has responded to. The art, the intentionality, it's beautiful, and I think our only complaint is that it was all digital because we want to buy your original art.
It's my complaint too, because I am not so familiar with the community as I should be.
So this is no, hey, no guilt, man, no guilt. This to be your first set to be in, to be as good as it is.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. Yeah,
no, thank you, and it's good to see. It's good to see how people respond to this. I had other projects that people responded, especially here in my country, but I wasn't expecting the love that these people are giving to me. So it's I want to give back somehow. That's why I want to answer as many questions as you have. And I want to keep talking to people. So if you want to talk to me, just DM me. I might take a while to respond because sometimes it falls on that hidden box of requests, but I always try to respond to anybody. And it's good to see. It's good to see this. It was a kind of a surprise for me. It's a little overwhelming at the first time.
I always argue it's easy to give love. It's actually hard to receive it, but it looks like you're receiving it pretty well.
Yeah, good. I have got 16 years of illustration in my back, so you get around.
You get around. I love it. Well, let's say hello to a couple people, and then I'm gonna get to Dylan real quick. Want to say hello to Nicholas. He's hanging out this morning. Thank you for being here. We got D's Nuts, always a good friend of the channel. Always encourages you. Spidey, hit that like button. Let's do it. Tom Riviera, what's up, Tom? Paul is here. Afternoon, good people. He's I think in Australia. That's why he's in the afternoon. And we got Brendan here. Yay, Marvel cards. Absolutely. Our friend Last Pack Magic. What's up, dude? How's it going?
Hey.
By the way, has a podcast now. Be sure to find Last Pack Magic on Instagram. Wait a minute. I just realized how he spelled magic. Oh, interesting. We got Christopher. Good morning. We got number one Marvel fan who I got to meet in person at OAX, Original Art Expo, which is such a great event, by the way. Great dude. My dad's here. What's up, Pops? How's it going this morning? Christopher. Tom says, nice work. Talking about your work there, Andre.
Thank you.
William, the Rider 95 says, your Death Riders are amazing for sure. My favorite characters in the set. How about that?
I'm sorry? I lost this.
He said that the Death Riders are his favorite in the set that you did.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
We got a good morning from Ghost. We got SP Haley. Let's see, Interglobal's here. Oh, we got a lot of people. Raj. Again, Christopher says, practicing his Espanol. I can't read that. You have to read it for me.
I don't speak Spanish, speak Portuguese. This is a very common mistake. It's a very common mistake.
I remember the first time I was like, so Portugal's over there.
Yeah.
Brazil's over here.
Yeah.
Why do they speak Portuguese?
Because we were there was the upper side, Central America was colonized by Spanish, and on Brazil it was colonized by Portuguese people.
Yeah. It just
the funny thing was that they at the first moment of colonization, because they tried to get away with, because the Portugal was having a lot of criminal activity, so they sent all the criminals to Brazil.
Oh, well, they make great artists. So there we go. That's funny. It's interesting because like the state of Georgia, I think, was like the prison state, and when the country was first forming, and that's where my family moved from to Louisiana. So that's probably what the original Underwoods were. Yeah. Frank Louise, my buddy, what's up? Hello. And we got Nicholas here says, let's pull a Venom for Dylan. You know what? Dylan's going to pull a Venom. I'm not counting on it. But Venom is going to happen this morning because Andre has agreed to draw Venom and Wolverine for us this morning while we're hanging out live. So how about that?
That's amazing. That's so special.
So Dylan,
I'm not going to say it's going to come out good, okay?
You know what? I can guarantee this.
Not worried.
It's better than what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So it's going to be a treat either way. We got see, Paul says, wow, I'm totally with that. Ghost says that's awesome. So if you have a question for Andre, for Dylan, or for me, put it in the chat. We're gonna get Andre set up on drawing. We're gonna get Dylan set up on unboxing. He's got 3-4 boxes that we're gonna hang out with, take our time with, and we'll be asking questions along the way. So sit back and relax. And Dylan, you are up, my friend.
Okay.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
All right. While he sets up, I'm going to ask Andre a question, and this is the question. Describe the challenges of going back and forth between concept character design, where you have the most freedom, and then going back to an IP where there's less freedom, and you just and the unique technique that you use. So you have to draw for Marvel, and they have their restrictions. So talk about that challenge of having the freedom and then having the restrictions.
Okay. What do you want to go first? Freedom or restrictions?
I'm pro freedom, so let's do that.
Okay, let's go freedom. I would like to first of all give a big shout out to my big friend Erica Clark, who is the art director who directed me.
Did you say Erica?
Erica Clark. she's like the best art director I ever had, and I'm not joking. I'm not overselling it. She's really good, and the thing was that she gave me she it was funny because she found me on Twitter, and I don't
Really?
use Twitter. Yeah. She actually saw an illustration for Batman that I did, a fan art that I did, that I was mixing Batman with Bloodborne. I don't know if you're familiar with the video game, but it's kind of a
Just the name.
Lovecraftian world.
I
Yeah.
never played it.
It's
Kind
a
of
masterpiece.
it's
Absolutely.
really good. It's really good. And she asked me if I wanted to do those stuff. So they said, okay, hey, Marvel Madness MCU.
By the way, Joshua, the first person to have Andre on one of the Marvel card streams.
Oh yeah, how you doing,
Yeah.
man?
Yep.
So she asked me if I wanted to do the Midnight Sunset because she liked my heavy metal approach and my horror illustrations. It was very dynamic, so she said, "Oh, it's good for that." And say, "Okay." She asked me just to keep the uniforms in check. I couldn't just change anything. You know, she asked me to keep on the on the on the basic uniform things, but I could do whatever I wanted. So I took that as a challenge because I was used to do mostly 2 or 3 illustrations a month, and she asked me for 5. And I teach composition, and composition is more is there's the beauty of the poetry, but there's always the strategy about it. So I said, okay, it's Marvel, so I have to do it. I can't say no, and I don't want to miss it because let's be honest, it's good money as well. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I could do basically anything I wanted, and she was very kind to allow me to show my process, because I have a very special process for myself because it works, you know. And usually I like to have the first conversation directly with anybody that's going to purchase something for me, since it's good to have the human on the other side. So that helped a lot. As for the restrictions, it would be like, hi Jessica.
That still is Jessica, by the way.
Yes.
Yes,
I was like, is she the Jessica Alba or is a Jessica Alba?
Oh yeah, the Jessica Alba. That's all you need to know.
Justin, sorry to interrupt you. Justin, would you like me to start opening while Andre continues?
Yeah.
To wait? Okay. Excellent.
No,
okay.
dude, we're going to have the combination of conversation, pack openings.
That
you feel free to interrupt us if you feel like it's something that you want to make sure that we acknowledge.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah, continue.
Hope you get a signed one.
Yes, as do I.
So so she had these restrictions that were more Marvel based because they have the movies, they are Disney property now. So I can't show over sexualized characters.
Right.
So for instance, when I was drawing Lilith
she has a deep cut with fishnets, and
she looks like Borat with that, that uniform, so it's kind of like it's all skin. So that was more of a liberty she gave me, because there was some different depictions of Lilith as the years went by, so I could make my own idea. So that's where the character design helped me construct, so I could give something interesting for anybody that would like the character, and also for myself, because I like having my own opinion on the character. This is the same reason why I liked getting the non-popular characters first. It's not to say that any character is better or worse than anyone's, but if you have a Spider-Man to draw, there's so many things that were already said about that character, that's hard to come up with something original.
Right.
But when you get somebody that you have to look up for his history, what happened to that character, it allows you to have more freedom, make less mistakes, and usually the fans respond back better to that,
Hmm.
you know. So I'm pretty happy with that came very close to home, because I do like to explore the story, you know.
Hmm.
And as for the character design, is it's good to for a good, it's a good practice, you
Hmm.
know, as well, you know. And also for the female characters, I myself don't like to sexualize characters just for the sake of sexualizing the
Hmm.
character, you know. I understand. I am A and D Jessica Alba. Oh, good to have you here.
A and B.
Now I feel like a rock star.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, so these when you're doing a character that explore her sexuality, like
Hmm.
let's say a succubus or a geisha, or there's space to explore sensuality, but you don't need to make that sensuality vulgar.
Yeah, like, are you selling the character, or are you selling
Yes,
the over sexualized aspect of a character?
yes, yes. It's so if
There
it,
is a
it
there is a difference, I think.
and it's a very fine line. It's really
Hmm.
hard to come up with that. So
Right.
it's
Like
interesting because
Enchantress has an element of that that's actually in her power set, right? Like
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
in Enchantress,
Okay.
yeah, she's basically able to entrance anyone to do whatever she wants, and
Hmm.
there's an
Yeah.
element of that, right? And even in some of your, like, if you think about, you did vampire characters, both male,
Hmm.
male ones right
Hmm.
here, but there's an element of
Yes.
that that can be in some of those characters, and so
Hmm.
I think it's important to still tell the story of the
Yes.
character, but that you're selling the character, but not the over
Hmm.
sexualized nature of
Yes.
the image.
And you know, I like to I like wait. I think it's more interesting, even
Mhm.
in even in the sensual part of things, to have a woman that can actually kick your ass,
Uh-huh.
you know, than with somebody that can do that's just wearing a bikini, you know.
Right. Right.
It's the dilemma when you play a role-playing game and the male characters get all that armor and the female
Uh-huh.
characters only get the bathing suit, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, there's just such a wonderful beauty to female anyways. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't need you to help it.
Yeah.
The male character needs all the help it can get. Um,
Yes.
but the female character, when just simply what it is just is beautiful. And we don't have a lot of ladies that watch this channel, but just know, like, you're beautiful. I mean, look at nature. In nature, the male peacock needs. Whoa, we got an auto. The
Oh
male
yeah.
peacock needs the help. The male needs the male bug needs the horns. The male mallard needs the colors. Like, the male needs all the help it can get. The
Hmm.
female's just beautiful. Period.
and
Doesn't need any help.
and sensuality can come from a very big amount of different places. For instance, I really like the archetype of the femme fatale from noir movies.
Yeah.
You know, that's a woman that can get in your head, it gets in your feelings, and you know there's something wrong there, but you still are gonna bend over to make things happen, you know,
Mhm.
for her, and you get in trouble because of that. It makes the hero question himself. I
Mhm.
know that I'm talking about a villain character, but
Right.
still, you know. And it's funny that one thing that I like to do is mess with the beautiful and the monstrous. So
Hmm.
I have this painting I did for an RPG of a orc lady, and she's like huge. She's very strong, and she's wielding an axe and holding a head to her hand.
Hmm.
And she's ugly. She's very very ugly. She's like the teeth out, and she's like, ah, you know,
Yeah.
100. And she has this big giant breasts, and she's just wearing that barbarian outfit. It's not like she's got big breasts to
Right.
just sexualize it. Doesn't look sexualized, but they're big. And I can tell you that 100% of the people that bought that print on conventions were females,
Interesting.
because it's a power image.
It's a power image. Got it.
Is And it's very interesting to see their
See, was
reaction.
that beautiful?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, he just showed Aunt May. She was
Okay.
very pretty.
Nice.
Well, we got another question here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get that one put up on the screen. What's the one Midnight Suns piece you wish you had back? Not to say you have regrets, but after stepping back, you could see things you'd have done differently.
To be honest, I can't think of anyone. Maybe Ghost Rider, and the reason is because it was one of the first ones, and it was a little nervous. You know, I would like to do that one again. But I am not unhappy with the result. I just think that, like I said, Erica is a very good art director. So she an art director who is good at his job or her job knows how to see the worst in you and how to expect the worst in you. When you're doing your portfolio, you don't want to just to put only the things that took you a month to do. You have to do because the art director is going to measure you by the worst painting you have in your portfolio, because that's what he is going to be able to expect from you on your bad days. Everybody's got bad days. So she was able to pick me up from the starting moment where I was doing just 5 illustrations to a point where I could do 10.
Wow.
When I was used to do like 1 or 2, and when she got me to do a more, she said, okay, I'm going to put you in this project. I can't say which project it is because I'm bound by NDAs, but I'm going to put you in this project. And I just want you to up your game like this. And she points to me like, I do like your painting, but I think that you could do better on this and this and this. And I say, okay, I'm going to study that. And I can safely say that she was the reason why my paintings are so good.
Wow.
She is good.
That's a big compliment.
Because there's this thing that you think that the artist does everything on his own, but that doesn't happen like that. If you have a screen right, there's so many ideas in your head that you keep asking yourself questions that makes you doubt yourself. That happens with actors, that happens with dancers, that happens with anybody, even surgeons. So when my way of dealing with that is talking to people, because my head is all over the place. So talking to people gets me to a point where I can focus. So she was a great help with that. So yes, I know I have skills, but when you have somebody that knows the product and it says, okay, if you do this, it's going to look better, and you go there, it's a back and forth. That's why I love working with her.
Yeah. By the way, I have a great friend that's texting me these awesome questions. So I just want to give a shout out to them. They don't want me to say their name, so I'm not going to say it, but
okay. I know it's Jessica Alba.
The man behind the curtain is actually a female. Yeah, that's it. I love it. So you're going to draw for us today, but
yes,
this is going to be, you have like one of those desk screens or something, right? What is it?
I have Zen's Labs 24-inch screen where I paint directly. The only thing is that when you can ask me questions, I'm going to be able to talk and everything, but I'm going to be looking down because my camera is in front, and this is looking. So I don't want to be rude or anything.
No, do you want? No, please. I want you to be distracted by the drawing. I'm looking forward to it. Do you want to go ahead and get set up, and then we'll get into the Midnight Suns box?
It's up to you guys. I can stay here all day.
Let's go ahead and get you. I want to go ahead and get you started drawing just from a time standpoint, because I don't want to finish the boxes and then start is what I'm getting at. So I think that'd be good. But while you're getting set up, I do have a hard hitting question. What is Dracula eating?
No, that's one of the restrictions. I can't put anybody eating anything. He's not eating. He's just holding his hand like he's thinking.
Oh, like okay. I see it now. It looks like, but I thought his mouth was open. Like,
yeah, but that's one of the restrictions. Marvel has weird restrictions. I think that I know that there are reasons for that, but I can't show guns
Yeah.
I can show space guns, but no guns, which is
Right.
why I don't know. I was never asked to do the Punisher, but
Mhm.
I'm worried about that because I'm just gonna be like the heavy metal guy, you know.
Yep.
But you can't show people eating. There was one particular character that I wanted to show eating something, and they didn't
Yeah.
allow me. I had to redo it from start.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what was one of the problems I had. But it's not a problem. It's like business as usual, you know.
Right.
The sexualized thing
Yeah.
and blood. I can't show blood.
Right. Right. And it, this you're restricting quite a bit on the Midnight Suns set for that for sure. All right. You ready, Dylan? I think you're muted though. Let me unmute you. Nope. You have to unmute yourself.
I did. Yeah, I apologize. Yep, all set.
Yep. Awesome.
I just wanted to show, in case my buddy missed it, Nicholas Trin. There he is. This has black tape on the wrapper. This box is mine. The second box is his.
Got it. Got it.
All right, just so we're clear here.
Awesome. Nicholas, thanks for sharing your box with us.
He's Flashback Woods on Instagram too. If anyone's interested.
Say it again. You said flashback what?
Flashback Woods.
Got it.
All right. So, okay.
And then Andre, whenever you're ready for me to share your screen, let me know.
I am ready.
Ooh, how do I have?
Do you want me to go do a Russian accent so it looks more prepared? Like I am ready to make I'm ready to make my depictions here of your characters.
I love it. Please keep that. That is awesome.
Okay.
All right. I know we're gonna pull some of your cards here in a second.
Is the hits in the center, correct?
The hits that always typically, let me say, after the green parallels when you're gonna have your hit.
Okay. After. Yep. Okay, so we'll go back now.
So Andre, I don't see where you've added your drawing screen. So just let me know when you do.
Oh, I have to do it. Oh, sorry. I thought you would be the one to share it. Sorry.
It'll put it down at the bottom and then I'll pop it up.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one. If you're not collecting those, Dylan, I might would trade for that if that's okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Aha, there it
that
is.
Will be me. Yes, that it is.
Let's see, how can I get us all up here? Trying to figure out how I can get that added while still having. All right, I think we're going to do it this way. So we can watch you draw, but we can't see our faces right now. But that's okay. That's all right. We can still see Dylan's cards. Let's see here. We got a question from Marvel fan. Says, was Dave McKean an influence on your style, or David Cho?
Dave McKean for sure. One of my favorite works for him. Like everybody knows the Sandman covers, but I do like that Batman comic book, the Arkham Asylum. It's like one of my favorite comics ever.
Mm-hmm.
And but I have a lot of inspirations. Like one of my biggest inspirations is a Polish painter named Zdzisław Beksiński. It's a very difficult name to spell.
It is.
But he's like one of my favorites. And there's a bunch of them, like Greg Rutkowski, the old guys, John Singer Sargent, NC Wyeth. I am taking classes with this awesome painter. His name is Sterling Hundley. He's like the guy's one of the greats today. I think that I think he's gonna come into history at some point because his paintings are so good.
Ooh, nice Wolverine.
So good. Nice.
And what does he like to paint?
You mean Sterling?
Yeah.
I know that he most the pieces I like the most are more figurative, more abstract. But I do enjoy his musician paintings. You know, like he painted Johnny Cash, Carlos Santana. Oh, there's one of mine.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
There it
gorgeous.
is.
Nice. It's a green one.
Yeah, it is. It's the parallel. Very nice.
You see, I am learning how this works.
I love it.
There's a lot of redos here, guys.
Do you? Yeah, you gotta. And now, so when you're saying redo, like are you figuring out what you called your composition earlier? Is that what you're doing first? Because you mentioned your process, so feel free to talk us through that.
It's my process is a little messy, and that's the reason why I think people like it so much, because it's unpredictable. Oh, there's Wong.
Yes.
The good thing
you did Wong.
I did Wong. Yeah,
I love that.
Thank you.
That is awesome. It's just been, to me, like, from Wong as a card, like, it's been my favorite Wong card.
Thank you.
So cool. Whoa, Hannibal King gold.
Nice. So yeah, my process is like I have two ways of going in about it. When I have a briefing, when I have something that I have to do, I usually go and try to make sense by exploring like this. I don't like to follow too many rules. The big thing is that when you want to draw well, you have to understand the rules. It's kind of like knowing your grammar when you want to be a writer,
Right.
It's not like you're gonna think of every kind of figure of speech when you're writing, but you have to understand this to your core. So I do have my
very nice black cat blue parallel here from Simone. Yeah,
beautiful.
Sorry to interrupt there.
Don't worry. And I think a lot. So you have to have your fundamentals in check, so you can be versatile on that. The more you understand the game, the better you're gonna solve your problems.
So if you're gonna break the rules, like you're doing it on purpose, like you understand what you're violating.
That's it. Gotcha. So I try to teach myself how to make each process more intuitive. Yeah. So the thing is to allow yourself to make a mistake. Like I erased the first idea. Like I know how to draw. I don't need to be like stuck to that.
So are you? I want to ask this well, but like, are you judging yourself as you're drawing? Are you struggling with self-doubt in the midst of it? Or are you just exploring?
Both of them. Like when you go to, it's kind of the same thing if you think about it. It's like you doubt yourself, you question yourself. There's a fine line between those. When you doubt yourself, you don't trust your brain to solve a problem. Basically, that's the difference. Like,
hello, Jessica, how's it going?
He said hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hi.
Ooh, that's from our friend.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. Nightmare.
So there's this difference between you doubting yourself and you questioning yourself. When you're drawing, you're gonna make a mistake. That's gonna happen because the drawing is an organic process. So like your organism, there are points where you're gonna be weird and you're not going to understand where you're going. But there are points where this is what we call a happy accident. So, I did this, So I try to concentrate on the attitude of the character, So, or if I'm doing an environment, I think about the atmosphere. I think about where is this happening, and if I want to draw something, let's say fearful, let's say I want to draw a horror character, I think not of symbols of horror like blood or something that might hurt you, or I think of what scares me, because
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like if when you tell a scary story to somebody, something that maybe happened to you, like you were mugged, or another one of mine. I love this one.
Yeah, isn't that your favorite? Did I hear you say
It's
that?
one of my favorites. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like this is like the most underground character they asked me to do. So I got to be like, okay, let's up the game for this one because there are not many people that drawn it, you know?
I love that. I love that you took that effort.
So yeah, so when you think, you're gonna think about situations like you were close to being mugged, or uh when you're, I don't know, if you're drawing, like, say, a werewolf or venom, or like you put yourself in the character, you dress yourself as a character, so to speak, you're playing like a kid. There's
Yeah.
this sentence my one of my early teachers, Marshall Vandruff, told me about composition. You just compose as a child,
Mm,
like if you were 5, because think about it, this is where this comes from. Like we were the little kids that enjoy the movies, and work, and depending on your age, when you were a kid, superhero movies were not good. There was a handful of them.
right.
Like I would get constant wedgies at the school because I liked Marvel characters.
Right.
So, like, don't get me wrong, I'm proud to be quote unquote nerd, but
Yeah.
it's funny how the reason why these things are a place of passion for me, and I think that's the thing that makes your drawings, or whatever your like your characters, what you're like. I am being Venom or Wolverine or whatever character they asked me to do. If you There's New Game on talks about that, like if you're gonna uh make a psycho killer,
Hmm.
you have to think like him. It's
Mm,
not like the person that um created Hannibal Lecter is a cannibal. You don't
right.
think that, but he has to think like one.
There had to be some understanding of what a Hannibal Lecter
Yes.
would do
you
and
have
think.
to, you have
So,
to get
so
under
in a
there.
way, you're kind of like method drawing, like in the same way that someone would
it,
be a method actor, right?
you can say that. You can say that.
Mhm.
You can say that.
A couple of comments here, real quick, Andre, because they're happening fast. My dad says, Justin, you have great ideas you should share with Andre about your imagination on art. Reference for Spider-Man poses, even playing basketball. So I will say that uh, I think it's got to be difficult to draw Spider-Man today because because his especially when he's in a dynamic pose, because he's been done so much, it's kind of hard to find a new pose. You know what
I
I
know.
mean?
Yeah,
Babe,
yeah.
1 second, guys. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna. Jessica's gonna rip this
Oh,
box.
Jessica, what's up? I was gonna say,
Hello.
nice
So I'm just gonna.
fingernail.
I'm just gonna let her know, babe. Once you see a green parallel, you start pulling from the back.
Okay.
So okay. So go ahead.
All right, everybody, give Jessica some love. Open it here with us.
1. Okay, so that's a green parallel. So now pull from the back.
Yeah.
Show everybody the show
That's a
everybody
card
the card.
trick.
I'm learning.
That's a beautiful card. A buddy of mine pulled a printing plate of that. I
Oh,
think
wow.
last night. They haven't made it public, but it's incredible.
Okay, pull from the back again. Okay, and then you'll reveal the last card. So then you can, you got it. Yeah, that's the Joker. You didn't
Do
know?
I flip from the back?
You look like the Joker. Yeah, I was thinking that.
And yeah, and now you just show the hit. This is the hit.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, nice. I like that one.
That is cool. That's Juggernaut, right?
I was thinking that. I didn't want to ask you because
All right.
I don't know so many characters.
Yeah,
That's
it's definitely a different look.
You tapping out. That's it.
job.
Okay. All right.
Good job, Jessica.
They say
I
good
just
job.
wanted I just wanted to give a big shout out to my friend Bad Wizard.
Oh yeah, Chris, Bad Wizard. What's up, bud?
So I guess
It's
this
like-
is a bloodbath.
ah,
His name's Bloodbath, the Subway Vampire Killer.
Bloodbath, the
Jet-
subway vampire killer. That's very specific.
yeah, it is.
And I know he's British. Like he's Bloodbath, the subway vampire killer.
Yeah.
Bloodbath.
Good morning, Lewis. What's up? Sorry, I'm just getting to some of these comments here. Kent, he says excited for Avengers Metal. By the way, it's a new set. We got a preview of yesterday.
I didn't keep these hits separate. Okay, so this second box is my buddy's, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't keep your card separate here, Nick. I'll change it.
What's
I
up?
got it. You're
What's
all
up,
set.
Zabra? Yeah. There's Chris's comment.
There
you go,
of course you
dude.
did. Yeah, there he goes. You're giving me this card. It's a base card, Nick. This is mine. It's all I want. It's a base.
Yep.
See, I prefer this over the auto, to be honest with you.
Tom is asking for the auto when you get a chance. He wants to see it again.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And then Nicholas says, watch Venom be in this box. That's an old comment. I just now got to it.
It's like Poison Ivy mixed with the Joker.
Yeah, it's a nice comparison. There you go. All right.
I'm a little afraid of doing those jokes because I don't want to be mobbed, by hardcore fans.
I just haven't seen the Venom in person yet. It's gorgeous. I love it.
Tom says thanks, by the way. Yeah, no, it's a great card. The one of ones on eBay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Jeez.
I know. It's a lot.
I grunt now, but then I'll probably end up bidding it.
Right. The one of one for both Venom and Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns and Marvel Masterpieces has now been pulled.
I saw the 101 Venom for Masterpieces get pulled.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Great pull for our buddy Ian, Cards of Metal. Pulled it on his Whatnot stream.
Wow.
For somebody else. Yeah. It's crazy. Let's see. How many packs you got left of that box?
So that was the first pack. The first hit he got. I'm already losing track. I think this is the third pack of this box.
I kind of like not being on camera because I'm actually sorting my cards right now and putting them in numerical order so I can put them in the binder.
There you go.
Oh, this is what it's like to be able to just hang out. Very cool. Tom asked, how much are these boxes going for currently? I haven't bought any in a while, but I imagine around $200.
I got these from LCS at 175.
Ooh.
Nice
Yeah, I think
storm, Nick.
that's great. When you're looking at
Yeah.
Fleer Ultra Wolverine being as expensive as it is already on pre-order. So we got another question here for you, my friend. How did you arrive at your preferred medium? And can you remember the point in your career where you realized you had your own style?
That's a trick question. Because it's kind of like, as far as medium goes, I ended up on digital, not because I love digital. It's just, you don't have to wait for the ink and the paint to cool off, and you have a deadline, kind of like that,
Yeah.
But on the flip side, like you said, like there's a bunch of people that actually want to buy my originals. So yeah, I have to go back and relearn. Not relearn. I think relearning is a bit overdoing it, but go back to the roots. Like I would say that,
Yeah. I mean, isn't there a way to blend the two, like in terms of finding what it is that you want to paint, coming to that, quote, idea quickly on digital, and then
yeah, you can do both ways. The thing is that I see those as more of I see those more as tools than necessarily, oh, this is my way of painting, you know.
Got it.
I don't. I think that art in general is one thing. It's kind of an organism. That's how I see it. So when I try to paint or I try to draw, or if I go to sing, I don't know if you guys are familiar with my musical project. There's only 2 songs, nothing fancy, but when I go ahead and sing, there's the same structure, poetic structure, you know. So as far as tools to work, I just think of which better depicts the message I want to do, and how is this going to work for me as a professional. So I know there are things that you can only get when you put your fingerprints, even the mistakes you do, if you're not going to get on digital. But at the same time, you can make anything if you know, like I said, your fundamentals. So when I started working, there were a bunch of colleagues that wanted to buy the most expensive pen tablet ever, and I thought, well, if I can do whatever I want on a simple one, when I get a big one, when I get a good one,
Congrats on the golden.
I'm gonna be unstoppable. That was my idea back then, you know.
I love that. I love that thought process.
So that's what I strive for. As far as style goes, what I can say about that is that style is more of an acceptance than necessarily a search. You know, it's about your personality. I'm a very goofy guy, but I'm still a guy that likes movement. I'm a geek for anime, like old school anime, not these they're very popular today, but I actually lived in Japan for a year.
No way. Sorry.
You're scaring me.
I'm gonna kill him.
Ooh.
He hit a Venom
Oh, Dylan.
number to 180. Dude, a blue Venom. You picked the wrong
this,
box, Dylan.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
You sure that was his box and not yours?
Yeah, I called it right before the stream. We were gonna do like a split value, so like whatever we get is all of ours, and we'll just
And then do like a
whatever we
draft
sell.
and pick. He's like, I hit 2 Venoms.
This is number 2.
Denny, we're doing well. Dylan's struggling.
Hey, would this be a fair trade? Be honest, Justin.
I don't think so. Personally.
The Venoms takes over, the auto does.
Yeah, I think the Venom still
Beats
is
the auto.
a better card. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna kill him.
You see,
Lucky
I
I
had
like
I had the orange out of 25 Venom, right?
Oh, I look at it on all your streams. Not all your streams, but I saw it the recent reel. Yeah. It's
a great card.
It's my most wanted card of yours. I still.
You should have reached out.
I still have your Spidey sketch.
Oh yeah, I know. You should have reached out really quickly.
Oh, why'd you sell it recently?
I do love that sketch that you have. Yeah. Oh wow, you got it graded. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
It's Chris Foreman.
Yeah, it's a great artist
I didn't know
too.
who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very a widely collected artist, I would say.
Oh, it's a great saber too.
Andre, was there a character you wished you could have done in Midnight Suns?
Well, I'm afraid to say something silly because I don't know all their characters.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's Midnight Suns material, but I would like to do a Wolverine. You know, I like Venom as well.
Oh, they're both excellent characters, and I think what I enjoy about those 2 characters, and to some degree, unlike Spider-Man, is that a red? Ooh.
Yep.
Is this your buddy's box?
This is my buddy's box.
Like crying on the inside.
Yes, exactly. Something out of 50. Which, and I think this is a great character for Midnight Suns, Werewolf by Night.
Wow.
So good.
All right, Nick, are you watching this?
Yeah, he is. He's having a good time over there.
I'm
Thank you, Nick, for sharing your box with us.
gonna kill him.
It was like laughing and smoking a cigar on his
Yeah, he is.
president chair.
But what I was going to say about Venom and Wolverine is, unlike Spider-Man, I think there's a lot more liberty you can take with the character.
Yeah.
Than Spider-Man. You know, you veer too far from Spider-Man, you touch something sacred, right?
Yeah,
but-
that's it.
But you can make Wolverine and Venom your own pretty quickly, and no one will really say much other than congratulations.
I have this one that I actually offered Marvel, but they didn't have any cards for that. I did an X23 painting that just for fun a long time ago, where she was being tortured, and it's not as bad as it sounds, but she was being tortured in a prison, and she's like, I saw this on a Wolverine comic book that they would torture him by shooting him because he has the healing factor.
Ooh, there we go. There's one of your pieces, my friend Andre.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, can you guess who I based him on?
In terms of
Nosferatu?
No, please.
No. I based him on a singer.
Ooh, hold on just a second. David Bowie?
No.
All right. Your guess, Dylan.
Kind of has it. Well, technically, Jared Leto, even though he played Morbius, is a singer.
Okay, but not him.
It's not Jared.
Not him.
Keith Richards.
More 90s.
Marilyn Manson.
90s.
I'm sorry? What you said?
Manson?
Yes.
Marilyn Manson.
Okay.
Yes.
Not Michael Jackson. Marilyn Manson.
Not Michael Jackson. Because of the nose. That's mean.
Sorry. Oh, that's funny.
So coming back to the thing of style, I think that most people struggle too much with the idea of style. Like style is kind of a Frankenstein of what you like, and that comes from early stages of your culture, and your culture. You don't need to say culture as your ethnicity or whatever, is the things that you grew up with. Like myself, I grew up. I am from Brazil, but I hate soccer. For instance, it's not like we like samba or soccer. Yeah, I know it's surprising.
Yeah. I live in the South and I don't hunt, so.
So that and I like to do this joke because my dad is from Rio and my mother is German. And Rio guys are used to, like, people think of guys from Rio like California, like people that are outgoing, people are very warm, and my dad is anything but warm. And my mom is a German woman that hates beer.
Oh wow.
So I like to think that this is an advantage for me because I'm not something you can read right off the bat. So I'd like my style in a sense to be like that, something that you don't see every day, and I'm like the anime kid. I used to watch Cowboy Bebop when it wasn't popular. I actually when I went to college, I won a trip to Japan. I stayed a year in Japan.
Oh, that is incredible.
And I wanted to be a manga artist, because I loved it so much. There were the characters, when you see the villains sometimes were more moral than the heroes. That's what captivated me. When I remember watching, I think it's popular now, but people wouldn't know this. Knights of the Zodiac. It's a very popular anime in Japan, almost as popular as Dragon Ball. And it was the first time, because I was born in 83, like I'm 40,
Same.
So when I was young, what we had as cartoons were Tom and Jerry. It was kind of violent. Like Tom was going to get hit by a pan, but he wouldn't die. He wouldn't bleed. There was nothing consequential happening to him when he was a victim of violence. But when you saw those characters in that teenage kind of anime, it was the first time I saw a character bleed. Like the guy would get us a punch in the stomach and he would cough blood. And I'm like, oh, this guy can die.
Yeah, it's real consequences. Yeah.
You know, so that was the first time that it captivated me. And sometimes you see the antagonist have more morals than the actual hero. The only thing is that you have to question what he's doing and how he's doing it, how he's going about it, more than necessarily go, oh, this is good, this is evil. Okay, let's do the right thing. You know, there's context and not manichaeism. You know, so you know, I like to draw characters as such, and I like to go back to that. And I know I drifted a little bit. I'm sorry for that.
Well, I was just kind of waiting for a moment to say for us in the States, an example. You know, I was born in '83 as well. Certainly watched Tom and Jerry, Roadrunner, similar. You know, Bugs Bunny, similar things where there were really no there were no consequences. It was inconsequential. What really happened. It was just good fun, right? But then X-Men, the animated series, happened.
Yes.
And then within the first 2 episodes, Morph dies.
Yeah.
And you know, that meant that there was high drama because there was something real at stake. And it really humanized the show. And then they continued to take on, you know, pretty big topics. And you know, there's a reason why, you know, those cartoons have us gathered here today, you know.
Yes. And they were bringing up some, oh, this is cool. They were bringing up subjects for children that are very relevant. It was the first time I was actually approached with the idea of cultural differences, racial differences. It was all talked about in the X-Men cartoon. And this is very important. You know, it teaches us values by going through context. You know, it's not just, oh, this is right, this is wrong. You know, it's like, think about
maybe
it.
Maybe I'm misremembering it, but what I loved about the animated series is it didn't tell you how to think about it.
Yes.
It wanted you to wrestle with it.
Yes. And this is important. You're giving people the ability to give an opinion.
Well, if you tell me how to think, even if I agree with it because I feel like I'm supposed to, it doesn't actually go deep into my core. And so when it really matters, I won't even honor it. But if I get to wrestle with it and then I have to, you know, develop why I believe it to the core. Now I'm actually probably going to honor it when the moment actually needs me to honor it.
And it is important for you to have that question in your head, even for your own values. Like I remember this friend of mine who used to teach at a school. That the approach of the school was not the conventional one. There were debates and things that would make the primal subject to be how to. I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget the words in English. How to make your own opinion of things. So they would make big debates with kids like between 15 and 20, and they would have to, okay, who is pro-abortion and who is against abortion, which is a very, very difficult subject. So there will be the people that were pro and there were people that were con. So, okay, you could say what you thought about that and give your reasons. Okay, so now, the person goes, the mediator goes, okay, so now we're gonna do the flip thing. Everybody that's against it has to argue pro it and the others as well. You know, so because you have to find reason. And just because something makes sense, that doesn't mean that it's true, you know. So if you can find good arguments to something that you're not necessarily agree on, you give yourself more space to think.
Yeah, no,
You know?
I'm with you on that. And then, when it like to bring this back to like art, right? You said there are
Mhm.
rules, and like for me, if I'm driving down the interstate, it's probably best that I, within reason, obey the speed limit, right? It's in the best interest of another.
Mhm.
But if my family member is, in a situation where they need to get to the hospital, like they're
Yeah.
dying, they're bleeding out or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
then I don't care about your speed limit.
Yes.
I'm going to do what it takes to get there. And,
Yes.
and I think, you know, you know, being able to distinguish between the two is really important. How about this hit right off the bat? A tier
Oh,
4
yeah.
Wolverine. That's a huge hit, dude. That's
I've
like
been wanting this. This is a Wolverine card. I've been
$1,000
after.
card. Wow.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
I'll take it.
I mean, I sold mine for $1,250, but it was when it first released, so that you typically get a premium on those prices, but still incredible.
Oh, it's in great shape too. Good. This is great.
Yeah, dude. What a wonderful way to start off a box. And I think you could trade that for the Venoms that you wanted too, by the way.
That Venom is not. That Venom is very affordable. I took the time to Google it anyway.
But I think Andre, when you're taking these liberties and drawing, but the moment something's not right, you're able to draw upon the rules to get you probably to the place you wanted to be in your own liberty and freedom anyways.
Yeah. It's like I said, like I like to when I teach, I try to make the student get his own opinion on things, but still there's a difference between what works and what is right, and what works is like, if you do anatomy, it works if you know how to draw a skeleton properly, let's say.
Yeah.
So if you're getting trouble, like you do a position that you're not very familiar with, if you know your skeleton, you can get away with it by adapting it with the knowledge of your anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
So like here, when I am drawing this creature here,
right,
I know that if I actually nitpick every single detail, I know my anatomy is off at some point, but I know how to put these things together.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to you. So that I use my knowledge and basic knowledge to get you to understand this. We are illusionists. We are not taking pictures. That's why I think that AI is just like bullshit.
Yeah. Language.
Sorry.
But illusionist, right? So there's a bit of magic to it, right? There's, to create an illusion is one of the elements of being a magician, right?
Yes.
And you're creating the illusion of like, hey, what if this was real? It doesn't mean it is real. There's a fantasy aspect of it, but I'm going to draw upon some of the reality that is real to do so. So understanding proper anatomy, even when I'm going to break it, will help sell the illusion.
And there's also, like, if you take a picture of some real body doing the movement that you want, it can look weird on a drawing. So you have to know how to adapt that. And I know, like, for instance, there's this painter named Bugaro. Bugaro was a very realistic painter. And there's this famous painting of his, he is depicting Dante and Virgil in hell, and there's this character who is suffering in hell, and he's being bit by another character, and you see the anatomy is off, but it works for the composition. He purposefully, because that guy knows his anatomy.
Right.
He understands it perfectly.
It wasn't a mistake. Like, it was part of the composition.
So sometimes you just give yourself a poetic a poetic license to do stuff, but you have to know what you're doing.
I was given this statement. Andre, remind everyone that the knowledge you have now was paid for with hard work and practice.
Oh yeah. It's like I took 5 years to learn the basics, 5 years to understand how I would go about them, and more 5 years to present this to the public.
Yeah,
it's a very big journey.
But by the way, Dylan, you're killing the box. I love everything that you're pulling.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Not at all. The Black Panther purple, now an orange Drax, of course, the out of 99, and there's still another hit in there for sure. My dad says that he's loving the claws, and I'm loving this too because you're going to draw Wolverine, but this is Venom, right?
It's a Venoverine.
Oh, even better. Venomized Wolverine.
It's a Wolverine if he was Venom.
Is it Wolvie Venom or Venom Ring? Like
let's put that's the audience to do a vote.
Wool'em.
I love it. Which is it? Is it more Wolverine than Venom or more Venom than Wolverine? You decide.
You guys give me the name.
Beautiful Storm.
Oh yeah, I love that depiction of Storm with the mohawk.
Ooh, Battle Spectre Jim. What a great box. Rogue and Mystique. I actually would like for Andre to tell us which one is Rogue and which one is Mystique.
Oh shit. Oh, sorry. sorry. You caught me there.
I think it's clear.
I think let's see. Oh, this is a pickle. I think Mystique is the one behind.
All right, Dylan, what about you?
I'm ashamed that I'm asking this as a diehard Marvel fan.
Yeah.
But I'm almost positive Mystique, it's just an aesthetic thing. She doesn't copy their powers. Like it's not like a 1-to-1 power transfer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a 1-to-1 power. She transforms into who they are, like just from as a copy.
Right. So that's why Rogue's got to be behind her because I don't see Mystique.
Oh yeah.
I don't see Mystique apprehending Rogue.
Yeah, because Rogue is super strong, right?
Unless I'm wrong. Yeah, she's got Miss Marvel's.
Yes,
Captain Marvel's.
You're right.
Set,
right. You're right.
So I'm pretty sure DeSanto says that he'll never tell, and you're not supposed to be able to tell. But I understand the argument. I think if I had to guess, the one without the angry villainous face and showing the strength would be Rogue.
Right.
The one who's got kind of the angry villainous face.
But
and looking eye.
Rogue is kind of condescending if she is the one behind.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't think that she would be the one to be,
especially to her own mother.
So mean,
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point. We got some entries here. We got Venomarine.
Venomarine. I like that. It's got a good sound to it.
Bill, I'm not. Sorry.
I'm very comfortable with Justin.
What's that?
I said I'm very. My Jessica's 13-year-old niece is watching the stream, and she said, "Tell Dylan not to be afraid to ask anything."
Okay, good.
I don't. Any questions I have?
He's quite.
I remain inquisitive on the channel, babe. I promise. Tell Madison.
Yeah. Love that.
No need to be embarrassed.
Oh,
by asking embarrassing questions.
She's referring to the card we were just talking about. It took me a second. Where's the other? Oh, this is the famously uncentered card. Am I right? That's why there's no streak here.
Actually, this is the first time I'm even realizing that.
Yeah, I haven't. Huh. Every other card has it. Well, it's hidden on this side.
Yeah, it's hidden on that one. Oh, it's just because they brought, when they designed it, they brought the bullet forward.
I see.
Instead of pushing it back. Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I don't think it's off-centered. I think it's just not there.
Right.
My pop says Wolverine.
Wolverine. Wolverine, I love it. I love it. Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's like that sound when you're dodging a lightsaber, like
Yeah.
right on in front of your face, like woman.
I love that. What a great variant cover there, bud.
Nice.
Let's
That was a
see.
great box. Very happy with that.
Jim Dixon says, I don't think Rogue would grab someone as savagely as Mystique would. Which I
Yeah,
think is
that's my point. Yeah.
Hi, Madison. That's my daughter's name, by the way, my oldest daughter.
Oh, cool.
Kent, the Kitty Pride art is great. I actually owe a lot to the Kitty Pride art because that's how I discovered who the artist was when I saw the Kitty Pride art on a live stream. Jim says, Wolverine. It's hard for me to do this.
Wolverine.
There you go. Wolverine. It's like double-sided lightsaber.
And it's funny that we in Brazil we pronounce the W as a V. So
Yeah.
in Brazil, Wolverine is pronounced as Wolverine.
Say that again.
Wolverine.
Wolverine?
Yes.
Well, that doesn't sound as good.
I know. I am not proud of it.
You take that back. Wolverine. Anyway,
Just
yeah.
culture for you.
I haven't been to Brazil. I've been to Peru. And I would like to get to the other side of South America, but I haven't had the opportunity to do so yet.
If that's the only thing that any Brazilian is going to be able to tell you is if you go to Rio, get a guide.
Yeah, I've heard.
That's the only thing you have to do.
Yeah,
because Rio is I don't know why people like to visit Rio. Rio is very violent now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of different places I want to go first.
Yeah, but you will enjoy Santa Catarina and maybe the place where I live, Curitiba, is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if you and there are beaches around, so you're gonna be able to see good places, because people like to come here because of the environment, you know.
Yeah, that's me. If I did go, I kind of would want to get off the beaten path.
Yeah.
We had this question. I'm gonna let you read it.
Tell everyone what brigadeiros are. Brigadeiro. Brigadeiro is a very cultural sweet we usually eat on birthday parties. Is one of the favorite. Cake. No, it's not cake. It's kind of a butter chocolate ball with sprinkles on it, and it has so much butter that is like it's almost like a ball of hot chocolate, but it's not hot, you know, and it's so good.
Sounds delicious.
You can get out of the is if you're a very hungry kid as I was, you could go. Let's say you're gonna spend a lot of time in the toilet. Just by eating it, just by going to a birthday party.
It doesn't stick to the bones. It runs
yes, but it's very tasteful. It's very good.
That's awesome. That was a good question. Yeah, I'd never heard of those.
Andre, I missed some of what you said earlier. Did you say that you worked on the video game Bloodborne? You did some of the art for
No.
Okay.
I made a Batman fan art, and I thought like Bloodborne is a game that is based on a Lovecraftian environment. It's like it's a nightmare world where eldritch creatures roam, and people are sick with a blood disease, and they turn into werewolves. And I thought that Batman has a lot of Lovecraftian lore to it, like the Arkham Asylum and all that stuff. And I thought that Batman has that one rule that he doesn't kill. But if he was a witch hunter and he had to hunt werewolves, that would be no such rule. Or the rule would be kind of convenient, you know. So
Mhm.
I thought, I don't know why people are not doing that. So I decided to do it myself. So I thought about the concept for a comic book named Witch Hunter Batman. So I would pick the lore from Bloodborne and put on the Batman lore. So the let's say Two Face would have a cult, and his cult would be named the Cult of Two, where people would mark their faces, and he would be like the cult leader on this all this stuff. It's the like Poison Ivy would be a seductress kind of
Yeah.
creature, and she would do the trees with the bodies of her enemies and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, it's all genius. I'd read it. Absolutely.
I want to
What
go
would
back to
you do with
Brendan's
Bane?
point.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh no, Brendan said, talking about Rogue, if she is absorbing Mystique's abilities, or when she grabs a hold of somebody flesh to flesh, she also takes on some of their personality too, which is part of the struggle she has. So
Okay.
she might be more aggressive at that point.
That's what I like about this community. We are gonna be arguing about stuff we would never be arguing anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah, you know. It's a
I love
great
it.
conversation.
No doubt.
Are you a fan of Null then, Andre, since he has a lot of eldritch horror elements to him?
What's the name?
Null, Knul. L.
K.
He's a recent character in the Venom
I am not
storyline.
familiar with it.
Oh, I think you're going to be a fan, my friend.
Okay.
It's,
Kind of a quick way to like describe him.
Is a Marvel character?
He's recently created. Yeah, I think it was 2018.
Okay.
It's this.
Yes.
Story by
Are
Donny Cates.
you familiar with the oh Lord, what's the name of the sword? All of a sudden,
All Black.
All Black.
Or the next
Are you
one.
a Danny Cates fan? The writer.
I am not very familiar with recent comics because I've been working so much.
Right.
I apologize, but that's one of the things I am afraid, because sometimes you don't know that you're gonna be burned at the stake, man.
Yeah, look, that's not gonna happen
No,
on
he's
this
very
channel. Yeah, the only person I make fun of for not knowing Marvel stuff is Manu, because the guy's and he's the 9.9 newsstand, and he's been on the channel a bazillion times. But the guy, what he knows to the nth degree, and as well as anybody can know it. And then he has no time or space for anything else, and doesn't want to know it. So if it's like modern Marvel movies, he has nothing to offer. But
Okay.
if it's like 90s comic books, and particularly 90s high grade rare newsstands, which is his cup of tea, there's not a better person to discuss it. And so or Wizard magazines is another one that's his. And so my point is, there's a lot of grace on this channel. You'll get it. What I would rather someone never do is pretend they know it, say it as if they know it, and be totally wrong.
Yeah. I am more familiar with games today because that's my go-to place when I want to chill.
Yeah.
I was always a video game geek. I still have my Mega Drive, so it's my place to go. But I want to get back to comics at some point because I am writing one, like a personal comic book.
Ooh.
I actually, to be honest, one of my goals, my future goals, if that can happen, is to make covers for comic books, especially for Heavy Metal magazine.
Oh wow!
Let's see if that happens in the future. Can root for me.
All right, so I do. So I'm rooting for you. And I had a question in the back of my mind that I wanted to ask anyways, and you just set it up for me. Do you have a character or any characters that you have created that are solely your own?
Oh yeah, I mean, not for big companies like Marvel.
Well, yeah, I mean just for yourself. Like you're kind of holding them back for the opportunity if it ever arises.
Yes. I have this. The comic book I'm writing is about mercenaries. It's a cyberpunk adventure. It's about it's a world where like every cyberpunk is like a world where everything is being controlled by companies,
Mm-hmm.
and the main characters are a sniper, female sniper, and a female samurai.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like Michonne. She's actually Japanese, but I thought, well, if you think about the future, what kind of differences would we have after a World War Three?
Mm-hmm.
I read this morning, just this morning, I read that some wolves on the Chernobyl area are developing anti-cancer traits
Mm-hmm.
because of the level of
Yeah,
radiation.
that's the only way they can survive.
Their bodies are learning to survive. And one of the ideas I had was that maybe after a big nuclear winter, somebody would find some cure or maybe uh, a good way to treat radioactive disease. Of course, this is fiction because a radioactive disease is it's a very hard thing to do to deal with, and it's very sad to see. I don't recommend anybody to Google it. Okay.
Yeah.
But I thought that, well, this guy gets this pharmaceutical miracle, and he builds a society over it. I can show the character if you want.
Yeah, it's look, whatever serves you. If it doesn't serve you to show it, then please don't feel the
Okay,
pressure.
it's I actually am working on this. So this is one example. What would be
Oh wow,
something in this society
So
like
these are like cyborg.
it's a kind of a religion. This is about context here. I am not showing the actual story
Yeah,
because I
okay,
want
yeah.
you guys to read it.
Yeah.
But this is one of the ideas for context. Like, imagine a religion where religion is basically on the core a way to explain and what happens when we die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so think that on let's talk about AI. When we think that AI is it's something that created by humans. We ourselves are robots, if you think about it. Like, we work on a battery, we have the heart, we have the brain, we have everything's kind of a system. So it creates some things on our image that we call the androids would be kind of like that. So I thought maybe somebody comes up with this idea on the cyberpunk social. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous
No,
to
you're
explain
good.
that.
You're good. You're good.
If you can replace your limbs, let's say, to be a better athlete, or just because you had a disease or something like that, you can replace your body. And at some point, let's say somebody can get to immortality by substituting everything that you have in your body.
Feels like a real possibility down the road.
So
Yeah.
you just keep your brain, your human brain, and the rest is all machine. This is a whole religion in order to achieve immortality in there. And there's a very complex idea of that, a big debate, that if you can actually achieve immortality, you wouldn't even need to reproduce yourself. Because we like that thing of reproduction because it's on our instinct. It's something that we as animals have to do. That's another way to explain why we are so afraid to die. We're not afraid to go to heaven, but we don't want to die for it. So so I want to discuss these things. I want to discuss the theme of religion. I want to discuss good idea. I want to discuss how things happen as human nature. I am very big on looking at human nature rather than on the ideology. I think ideology is a way to narrow your human nature, which is sometimes good if you want to vouch for something, if you think something is worth, your values are important, but they can be very different in one society to another as far as good and bad go. Well, for instance, in our on the Western culture, suicide is something very bad. You're committing something against your nature. On West Eastern culture, in some places, it's a way to preserve your honor.
Yeah, honor in the United States was supplanted by the idea of independence and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I honestly I don't want to have that debate here. I think
Oh,
it's actually
sorry.
yeah, no, I'm not trying to debate it. I'm just saying
Mhm.
it's an important conversation. I do think people should wrestle with honor versus freedom,
Mhm.
and I do think it's really important. I talk to my kids about it all the time, actually, um, and but I don't think we can't settle that or serve really the larger audience here with that. But I
Mhm.
love the fact that you're pointing out that it is a thing, and it is different around the world in terms of a value system of, and then if you hold a honor in our regard, you might make a decision that someone else wouldn't to
Mhm.
maintain what you hold out to be your honor for yourself, your family, your country, right?
Mhm.
Where maybe in the Western states, if you value independence and freedom, why would you limit yourself by, making another decision? And so
Mhm.
I love that
It's
you understand that there is a difference and people hold those values differently.
and that's the beauty of it. I think it's not for me to tell you what you should or shouldn't believe. I think it's important to understand that depending on where you are, where you grow, your values are different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of a discussion of is that really any right and wrong, and not to say that there are
Mm-hmm.
definitely things that are bad for you, bad for the environment, bad for people, bad for society. And I know is a very delicate thing to
Yeah.
bring up. I'm not trying as well to bring this up here,
Yeah.
but this is a very big example of how things work. Usually we make our perceptions of what
Mm-hmm.
is right and wrong by tragedy and by trauma,
Mm.
especially
Yeah.
on our lives.
Andre, I think that your value system becomes your platform by which you have perspective to see things.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if you hold your values as higher than someone else, then that has you looking down on them.
Yes,
And that's actually the real danger.
it's
And it's important for me to remember, like I have my value system and it's mine and I have it for
mm-hmm.
the reasons I have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't give me the authority or the right to then look on down on someone else's value system
Yes.
because their quote platform is at a different level.
Or even because you may or may not understand why they
Mhm.
have these values. It's
Right.
kind of like uh, I grew up in a country. They're so different from your country in
Hmm.
so many small ways, but we are connected in a way
Hmm.
because we saw technology do that to us.
Yeah.
One of the problems we had back in the pandemic, and that actually was a problem discussed on the Ukraine war,
Okay.
was that we are so globalized that we depend on each other,
Mm.
and that caused a logistic problem because one country
Yeah.
does one thing, the other countries have a consequence. So people are debating that, and the big thing is, um, if you just I think that the biggest problem today is the social network effect that
Hmm.
we're it's too early to understand how this is going to affect us on the
Hmm.
long run. And I think that I saw this quote yesterday that scrolling is the new smoking.
Yeah,
you
I could
know
see that. That's a good thought. I'm really glad you said that.
I'm
because
stealing
I
that.
I I made a commitment to myself for a while
Hmm.
that I would not be watching any reels, any comedic stuff.
Hmm.
And I don't know if your guys are familiar with it, but there's a limit to dopamine that you can produce in a day. It's
Hmm.
kind of like there's a limit to saliva that you can produce in a day,
Hmm.
because your body has a limit. It has so much it can do. So if you have a small amount that you can handle of dopamine, and you have these little dopamine shots every time you scroll something on Instagram, at some point you're gonna have nothing left. And
Mhm.
I did this for 2 weeks. I stopped using Instagram other than my personal marketing or anything that I have to do to keep the lights on. And actually, I got less bitter about the world because
Well,
I had more dopamine.
yeah, more dopamine. And
You know,
for me, like to your point, especially at my age of 40, that's why for me, like I dance, but I only started last year.
cool,
Uh,
nice.
and then I've integrated physical, exercise in a more routine way in my life as well,
Mhm.
because there's a there's a unique dopamine hit that happens in that arena, in that
Yeah,
space,
yeah, yeah.
that I think is important, because otherwise I might would chase it somewhere else.
Yes.
But I want
And
to go back to your. Oh,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. I
Well,
was
I just
just
want-
going to conclude that when we are now learning how to live with each other,
Mm,
and because like it's so easy for us now to for you to call me in the middle of the night, say, dude, do you want to go to a podcast tomorrow with us?
yep.
I don't have to fly over there. You know, and I can I remember when we watched Back to the Future and we thought, oh my god, we're gonna talk in video.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like this is common thing today. I don't need to pay a phone bill to talk to you. You know,
Right.
it's so interesting this.
I
But
love
now we are talking about the language we use. I'm not
Mhm.
complaining. Okay, I'm not complaining. I'm just making a point.
Yeah.
The language we use. Like if I do the same language in a podcast, is something this if I have to respect the culture of each
Mhm.
podcast. You
Mhm.
know, there are places I heard that a friend of mine was working for some people that culturally, if he couldn't hit the deadline, he would have to work for free. This
Mm.
was cultural to them. So there's and this creates a shallow culture because in order for us to get along, we have to make values thinner and thinner.
Mhm.
You know, that I know it's a long conversation, so I'm going to stop here.
No, it is, but it is a really useful one, because we do bring this into our hobby, and I'll give you an example. I lead a team in my work, and I say, hey, look,
Mhm,
if you value hard work, like you were raised that's a good thing, and that's a high value.
mhm,
Uh, you might judge your coworker who at 5 o'clock they're gone. It doesn't matter what else was needed to be
mhm,
done; they're
mhm,
gone.
mhm.
And then you have this other coworker, that coworker, they value family time, and they value
Mhm.
family.
Yes.
And so to them to stay after 5 would just be a terrible decision, because the reason they work is their family.
Yes.
And if you don't take the time to get around what has been called the wall of context, right?
Mhm,
To understand why that person has that value system, then you don't ever
mhm,
even get to know them. And then you improperly judge what they're
mhm.
doing. It appears
Yes.
that they're lazy, right? They leave at 5, they won't work. But the other person appears to be a workaholic and ambitious and doesn't care about their family.
Yeah.
But it's just a different value system.
Yes. Yes.
And so I do think it's important that that for me personally, to take the time to actually get to know a Dylan or an Andre, right?
That's why when I said earlier what I like to do when I meet a new client is let's do a video call, because they can give me all the brief that they want. They know I can do my
Yeah.
stuff, you know. But if I talk to the person, I don't need to become best friends with them,
Mhm.
but it's kind of like you make a single joke, you can understand how the other person vibes, and you see
Yeah.
the other human on the other side. Dude, it's a way better way to work,
Yeah. I love that.
you know.
Super special. Especially for me, I want to operate out of the position that we all have value, that we're all valuable. Even
Mm-hmm.
if your value system doesn't align with mine,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make you less valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
to me, that's really important. And this is an important conversation in the hobby, because there's a lot of what people might call the unwritten rules of baseball. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not against the rules, but hey, you're not supposed to do that. But it
Mm-hmm.
really comes down to just a value system that
Mm-hmm.
you build around what it means to collect Marvel cards, or to enjoy Marvel
Yeah.
cards, invest Marvel cards. And if I'm not careful, I'll impose my value system onto somebody else, and then determine that I'm better than them and they're bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's super healthy.
We are very complex creatures.
Amen to that. All right. So what are you thinking with the Wolverine Venom right now? Like we just had a really deep conversation. So I can't imagine that my brain would be able to do two things at once. And that
But this is art. This is art. Art is about humanity.
Yeah.
This is why I love doing this. It's about humanity. You know, in a way, art is love. Not to be say like super
Can
poetic.
you? Yeah, because I like have an immediate thought, but I really want to hear your thought about what you just said. Like art is love.
Mm-hmm.
What
Well,
does that what does that mean to you?
Well, have you ever been to a museum and saw a painting, like a very good painting?
Oh yeah, I've been to the Louvre in France and Paris. So yeah,
It's an
it was
almost
incredible.
sacred experience,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because you see the brushstrokes, you see the person behind it, even though it died. That person died. I don't know, 200 years ago.
Yeah. Who knows?
And it speaks to you. Yet it speaks to you. It is a different culture, is a different place, but it's about how you go about your life. Your life
Mhm.
is not your wage. It's not even the people that you meet. It's your experience. You're the only one that sees your eyes, that sees life through your eyes. So
Mhm.
when you see art, you see a way to say stuff without using words. Even
Mm.
though some forms of art are basically words, right? But there's a big difference between you just I don't know, write grocery shop
Mhm.
list, and you think of the 10 commandments.
Mhm.
You know, even religion is based on art.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, I look at the rose, right? Like like the actual flower,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never studied art, so I'm leaning on
Mm-hmm.
you for this
Mm-hmm.
thought.
Okay.
Like I don't even understand what principles of art it exhibits.
Mm-hmm.
The petals feel like, on the surface, like possibly a little disjointed. They don't all take the
Mm-hmm.
same shape, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
individually,
Right.
um, but from everything about it, from the color to the shape to the smell, the touch, like it just seems to be universally loved and beautiful. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And there is something about that art and love translate to one another there.
Mm-hmm. Because when you see it, when you think about the word love,
Mhm.
I know it can be interpreted up only about affection, but I think there's something sublime about it. It's just like talking about melancholy. Melancholy is not necessarily that state where you're blue. You know,
Okay.
it's
Are you saying melancholy?
melancholy.
Yeah,
Sorry
no,
for
no,
my.
no, no. I'm not correcting your English.
Okay,
I just didn't want you to have a word that I didn't know and I didn't
okay.
understand.
But
Yeah.
feel free to correct me. It's
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like that. It can be a state of sadness or a state of
Mhm.
grace. You know, and
Mhm.
and we even we have different approaches to what is sensual.
Yeah.
It's some place. Did you see that Blue Eyed Samurai anime?
I did. I'm so mad that there wasn't a season 2 already ready for me to watch.
Yeah, it's very
And
good.
then I read that it may not be a season 2. I wanted to not love somebody.
Oh yeah, I understand you. But yeah, so in some cultures, that black teeth thing,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, it would be a sign of royalty.
Okay.
In other cultures, it would be a sign of what? Why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, tattoos in different countries. Like if I go to Japan today, I have to hide this.
Okay.
You know, because tattoos are mainly used by yakuza people, like for gangsters. You know,
Got you. Okay.
I don't know if today it goes like that, but when I lived there, like was 20 years ago, like people would
Right.
say, "Oh, don't walk around with your tattoos," you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I think that when you talk about art, that's why you don't talk about skills, you talk about art. because you are uh, you're speaking stuff. You're talking about. There are different approaches to that when you think about Joseph Campbell and George Lucas. You know, like, but Star Wars in a way is it's about knowing yourself. Like when you see Darth Vader doing those things, you think that that character has a lot of pain in him. When you see my favorite part is when Luke takes the helmet off and you see that man that looked like the cute grandpa inside that face of destruction. It's the same thing when you were watching Mad Max and you see the big guy, whoa, and you take his helmet off and something delicate inside. It's about pain. It's about what you're suffering. And when Luke cuts Vader's head off in the cave, it's a way to say you can become that. The Empire is a metaphor for control. It's what you become if you're not careful enough. You're going to lose the part of you that is human. That's what happened with Vader. And when Luke gets his hand cut off, what happens to him? He's all in that organic place. He's always on that with aliens and everything's dirty and all this stuff. When he has his hands cut off, he replaces it with a mechanic hand, and that's a metaphor to say he's now part of that. That's why in the next episode he comes up with the black suit. He's part of that. The first power he uses is the same power that Vader uses, the choke one. He doesn't go with his lightsaber all like, you know, he chokes the pig guy. Spoiler.
40 years later, spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
I think we just passed the spoiler.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. I'd encourage you to still watch it.
But
And
yeah,
it breaks
so
my heart.
I can give you a bunch of examples, but that's how you see yourself in a way. I don't know you, but I know that there are parts of you that you look at yourself and say, "Oh, this is ugly. This is beautiful." You know.
I got to go back to the rose. You know, the rose. Like, we want to touch it and feel it, right? But to handle it any way you want to is actually, you know, it actually is going to be hurtful. Not only does it impact the beauty of the rose, but there's something called thorns on it.
Oh yeah.
And those thorns have an impact, right? And so it's like, okay, man, I want to, and I'm being like pretty vague and somewhat philosophical here, but like, I want to be able to enjoy this.
Yeah.
But there is a point in which I get hurt and I possibly hurt others. And then the thing that was once beautiful isn't. And it's, you know, how do you handle that? How do you navigate that? It's interesting, but that's, I think, also part of the beauty. And
it's the theme of perfection is the theme of the Empire. You know, perfection is not organic. Perfection is just, if it is perfect, is just one thing. If it's organic and you find yourself in mistakes, you can take beautiful things around it. And life is organic. I am a very skeptical guy. I grew up on a Catholic school. I've been to different religions in my life. I have my problems with the institution itself, but
good.
I am a spiritual guy, and the thing that makes me spiritual is watching how anatomy goes.
Yeah.
If you take the anatomy of a tiger, and you take the anatomy of a gorilla, and you take an anatomy of a person, it's a different thing, but it's the same mechanism. It's weird that everything is so connected.
Yeah, I mean, for something so different to occupy the same space is really actually pretty special.
And I don't understand how it happens, but for instance, when you have a group of women in the same place for a long time, their cycles they align.
I can attest to this. This is a routine conversation in my household of 3 females.
Mhm.
And I don't know it as a scientific fact, but I know it as a fact in the Underwood household.
But yeah, it's interesting because there's no something physical happening in order to that
Right.
to happen.
But
You
it
know,
still connects.
it still connects. So
Tell me
it's
how tell me how the locusts know to come, or the you know, the, oh man, why can't I think of the name? The cadence locusts come out of the ground at the same time
Mhm.
every, what is it, 13 years?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like clockwork, you know.
Yeah.
How do they organize like that?
And my vision, and I'm gonna be all that hippie idea that in my head, and this is my own personal idea. Okay,
Mhm.
probably there's a theory around it. Probably somebody in the chat's gonna
Yeah.
say, "Oh, this is that theory," but in my head is like a cell is a living organism by
Mhm.
itself, and it can't conceive what it is a human being, right?
Yeah.
We as creatures could I imagine the universe as God, as one thing, as a metaphor for a system, and we're just part of it. We don't understand what it is.
Mhm.
If you think of the if you want to get nightmares very quickly, you
Yeah.
just see what kind of things can scientifically can undo our world
Oh yeah.
just by this, like we are just
To your point, I remember the first time as a kid when it was explained to me like what the atom bomb was, and I was
mhm.
like, wait a minute, one of those exists in the object that I'm holding.
Yeah. There's one thing
And
scary
there's,
about the atom bomb is that there's today I don't know how technology is today on that,
yeah,
but there's one is an 80, like the Tsar bomb has an 80% chance of incinerating the atmosphere.
yeah, that's not good.
So like if somebody
Atmosphere is really important.
it's over. It's
Yeah,
kind of like that. It's over.
it's a big deal. But no, I mean, look, it's fascinating to think about. You know, these deep and wonderful things, and
Mhm.
I think they're here for a purpose. Like it's designed to make you ask the question.
Oh yeah.
I know for
That's a
me,
good
I'm
point.
really grateful for my dad. My dad, when I would grow up, would tell me, and people have heard this on the channel, but it's meant a lot to me. He said, "Hey, son, every rock has a crack."
Hmm.
And it was just
Nice.
this, pretty simple concept of like, hey, no one's perfect and nothing is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so if you put your trust in people or things, or even like you said, institutions, like you're
Mhm.
going to be disappointed at some point.
Oh yeah.
So don't do that. And that's really served me well, because I now am, don't want to ask too much of myself or others, and to demand perfection. And for me, I much rather want to tap into, like, who I am. And I
Mhm.
think who I am is connected to a creator, and so to be in creation is
Mhm.
to be closer to who I am and why I'm here. And I think being in creation is much more important than being perfect.
Oh yeah. Because it's kind of like if you don't allow yourself to be in a place of mistake, there's some part of arrogance in that doesn't allow you to grow.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. What? It's a good
You
way to
know?
show your ignorance, in my opinion, if you think you already arrived, like you're already there.
Yeah.
But
And most people that think they know the truth are people that are inside of a rule of an institution or teenagers.
Yeah,
Teenage
no,
adults don't know anything. Teenagers are certain of everything.
they are. But something really cool does happen, and I'm experiencing it now as a father, because I have a 21-year-old daughter
Mhm.
who is coming to the other side of that. I thought I knew it all, and
Oh yeah.
realizing, hey, there's a lot to learn, and you actually, Dad, might actually have something to offer me now. you
Mhm.
know, which is really pretty special. But
Mhm.
I have the pleasure of having a set of friends who are married,
Mhm.
who are what I would consider true geniuses. Okay, like,
Mhm.
super intelligent.
Okay.
And if I asked them a question, if I said, hey, what year was Brazil colonized? I don't know the answer to that question, by the way, but they wouldn't say it was this year. They would go, I think it's possibly was this year. But
Oh,
the
that's
truth
good.
is, they know it. Like they know anything, but they never close off the possibility that there's something else to learn. They're always like, it doesn't matter who they talk to, whether it's a 3-year-old or a 90-year-old. They
Mhm.
treat both of them with like, hey, this person has something they could teach me.
Nice.
And to me, like that is a true sign of genius and intelligence.
I like to think that intelligence is like a Ferrari, having intelligence. First of all, it was colonized in 1500,
There you go.
in the year 1500.
Now you know.
I don't. I think it was April. I'm not sure, but it was 1500.
Yeah.
Um, Intelligence is like a Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to drive a Ferrari, because the Ferrari is a very special car,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna be able to enjoy all the possibilities of that car, right? If you don't know how to to drive,
Mm-hmm.
it's a piece of metal that is just expensive lying in your garage. You
Yeah.
can be very smart, but you don't know how to use your smartness. You're just whatever. You're just existing. You don't
Right.
live. You exist. You're just like an object.
Mm-hmm.
So very important for you to develop that. Your intelligence. It's very important to know yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to understand how you work. Like if I try to teach you my skills, I don't want you to draw like me. I want you to draw like you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask the questions. You have to go about them.
Mhm.
So that's another thing. Like music and art is organic. Is almost as a living thing.
Mm-hmm.
It has its own life. That's why so many people care about this. Like you don't think about. I know everybody loves Stan Lee, but you don't think about Stan Lee when you read Spider-Man. You think of yourself, of your problems, of everything that connects you to that character. Oh, I've been there. That's why
Mhm.
it means to you. When you listen to a song that you like so much, is that it seems, and that's how people react to celebrities. Like they don't know if what makes them tick, but they just, oh, that character that you played messed with me. It's
Mhm.
actually one of the reasons why I don't know if you know that story, that Lena Headey was almost mobbed because she was playing Cersei and people were fed up with that character because of
What
the
show was this?
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Lena Headey is a lovely woman. She's very kind.
Oh, but Cersei's not. I got it.
Cersei's not, and people
Yeah.
were angry at her. I heard some. I don't know how the story actually happened, but I
Mhm.
know that the at some point somebody wanted to hit her on the street or something like that. Something very awful happened to
Mhm.
her
Hmm.
because they were angry with the character.
Hmm.
It caused Joffrey to retire from acting. The
Yeah,
son. Yeah.
yeah.
Who is that, Dylan?
Lena Headey, her character's son, Prince Joffrey, who was
Oh,
detestable in the
yeah, like
show, did
the
Yeah.
worst humans ever
yeah,
portrayed on TV.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he did such a great job that people treated him as such in real life, and he just went, "No thanks, I'm done with this whole Hollywood thing forever."
Yeah.
Wow, I did
Yeah,
not
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
true.
Wow.
yeah.
Is
Very, very intelligent kid too.
Oh yeah. Did you see
Yeah.
his lectures on theater?
At Harvard? Is that at Harvard?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
That
Yep.
that kid is a genius.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. After
Oh
going
yeah,
through
me
what he
too.
did.
Andre, we had this comment. You know that 49 people are here right now. You are celebrities. I said 2 hours in on a Marvel card stream on Saturday mornings. 47 people is good. We got our friend Interglobal says I came for the cards, so I'm staying for the knowledge and great discussion. And Kent agreed.
Me too. I love this. This is a rare opportunity.
Yeah, this is special.
I love this. Please, if you have any other spots at some point, you can call me. I'm right there. I like to have this conversation
Yeah, no,
because it's not about what I believe. It's about what we can come up with. You always learn something.
And Andre, like the issues of life matter. They flow from the heart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's an important conversation. And to your point, those
Mhm.
things actually touch on why we appreciate and enjoy the art and the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's because they mean something.
Mhm.
That's why we get so fed up when a movie or let's say season 3 of Mandalorian. Season 1 and 2 were awesome. Season 3 is Disney worried about killing characters.
Mm.
You see if you look at I'm gonna do a spoiler here. Can I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
People, if you haven't seen something,
Is
you
this
might not want to listen to this. Yeah.
Is it are you sticking with Mando, or are you going to? I haven't seen Ahsoka yet. Is my only concern.
No, it's Mando only.
Okay, good.
Can I go ahead?
You're free for me.
People that
Yeah.
didn't watch season 1 and 2 go la 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 right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Last warning. Okay, on season 1, you see that lone wolf character, wolf and cub character. It's very intelligent. It's a character nobody's seen, so anything can happen to him. So if he dies in the first season, there is an arc there, and you see the arc of that character, and then you see that cute character they so smartly created, the baby Yoda that turned out to be Grogu, but everybody talks about him as baby Yoda, and it was very cute to see earmuffs. It was very cute to see, and it captivated the audience. Of course, they were going to sell action figures of that. I wanted one myself. Okay,
Absolutely. I got one.
and at the end of the arc, on season 2, they have to part ways because there's a value there. He has to part ways with some. It's kind of on The Last of Us. Like he has to part ways with that creature that became kind of his child. He's kind of a father, a sonless father, and he becomes so attached to him, and now he has to let him go because it's a fatherly thing to do. You have to let your children go at some point.
Yeah. Healthy birds leave the nest is what I say.
Yeah. And what did happen? Sales for Baby Yoda came down.
Yeah.
They weren't selling any dolls anymore. So Disney went to say, you have to put them back in this story. So you're watching Boba Fett, and in the middle of Boba Fett, there's an arc for Mandalorian to put them together again. And they can't make any decisions now because all characters on season 3 are characters that can't die, that can't lose an arm, they can't have any consequences. So it's the most boring show I've seen in a while. It's even on video games. Everything is like, oh, we have to be careful with this because this is a trademark character and we don't want it to die because sales are going to go down, and it's not a very smart move because it's like, I know people that are proud to have their tattoos of Game of Thrones in their hands, but after season the last season, that
season 7 or 8,
people hated it. So now you just have a mark of something that you hate on your arm. If you like, Darth Vader dies in the last episode, everybody loves Darth Vader until today. Why did they have to bring back Palpatine? It's kind of like, characters die, they have their arc, let them be special.
Yeah.
If your sales for Baby Yoda tanked, just create another character. That's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the real issue, is that you do need to create another character. But creating Darth Vader and Baby Yoda, and even Mando for that matter, like that doesn't happen all the time. You know, like
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually work out that way all the time. But I certainly agree with you. Where I hold Grogu now is not where I held Baby Yoda after season 1 and
Yeah.
2. I
I don't.
cried at the end of the last episode of season 2 of Mando.
Yeah, me too. That's what I want.
And I don't even remember. I mean, if we sit here and think about it, but I can't remember really an episode of season 3. Like I'd have to think about it. Yeah.
It's not worth your time.
All right, we got this question here. This is for all three of us. Name your favorite alternate look for a Marvel character. No repeat answers. Who wants to go first? I mean, I think we know that Venom's that we know who your favorite character is, Venom, but go ahead.
I don't have a favorite alternate look. Wait, so for our single favorite character, you were.
I
going
think
in and
that's
out
the
when you
idea.
asked the
You're
question. So
you know,
favorite
or your
alternate-
favorite alternate look of a Marvel character. Yeah, not your favorite character. Sorry.
It's got to be Jason Aaron's Marvel Now for Thor.
Oh yeah.
When he had he had like the half gloves with like the studs on them. It was a simpler look for Thor. It was just like the black, red, and silver. It was during the Gore the Butcher storyline. That's his best look, in my opinion.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Andre, do you have a favorite alternate look for a character?
I don't know if this is alternate,
Mm-hmm.
but I really enjoy Wolverine's brown uniform.
Okay, I gotta think of another
I
answer.
love that one. That's my
alternate,
favorite.
but to me, it's alternate because he starts out in the yellow suit.
Yeah.
And then
The brown one is so good. Is this that's actually the suit that I'm taking as a base to do this Venom character.
Oh, very cool. Probably I'm thinking of a couple of different characters here. So number one would be I love the Dark Phoenix in the red Dark Phoenix suit, not the green.
Nice.
So if you say I don't know if you can technically say that's an alternate suit, but she Dark Phoenix sometimes actually is still in the green suit. So that's one for sure. You know, for Spider-Man, I'm very much a red and blue classic suit guy. But obviously the symbiote black suit is special.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to call that an alternate suit. Yeah, I think that would be that'd be the my selections there.
Okay.
Somebody said Miles' homemade suit in a private comment like that.
Oh yeah.
That actually was a thought that I had too. Yeah.
Today, I think that Miles is more interesting than Peter. I love Miles.
I think that's true. The challenge of creating a new Spider-Man, and to do it as well as they did with Miles, I think is just incredible.
Yeah.
And it's not it doesn't feel forced to me. I know it was accused of being forced in the beginning, but I think now we know it wasn't.
Yeah. I like that. I like to give. I like when characters have their own histories, and they can be. It's like it's a weird thing to say, but it's. I like characters when they have their own experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It does to me. It's a very particular to their story.
Yeah. Like I love how Miles is all about that graffiti culture, you know. It just captivates me, and he doesn't need to be like a copy of Peter. Peter is more goofy than him. He's make those jokes with the villains, like make fun of him. It's so funny. I remember on the cartoon. Remember the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s? Where
that'd be an understatement. I absolutely adore that cartoon.
Oh yeah, remember when he meets the X-Men?
Oh yeah,
and Storm is there. It's like, it's like.
I was actually reading.
May there be sticky.
Maybe it was a video. I think it was a video, not reading. But it was talking about how that's, how Parker uses the sarcasm actually as part of his ability. Like,
Oh yeah.
if he can have a villain who's like way more powerful than him,
Mhm.
think that he's actually dismissing him and not taking him serious, it puts him off. It doesn't
Yep.
allow him to leverage his ability against him.
And that's actually a smart move when you're fighting.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if you have to brawl with somebody, I don't recommend it. I'm not the fighting guy. I don't know anything like deep with martial arts, but if you want to make to get an advantage in a fight, you get the person mad because it
Dude,
allows their judgment.
you remind me of something that happened to me as a kid. So I had got my first like real fight,
Mhm.
like serious
Mhm.
fight.
Okay.
I get surrounded by this group of brothers. Their last names were Swolven. That was literally their last name. And they had the youngest of the brothers was a holdback kid named Michael Swolven. And they surrounded me in a gas station parking lot. And they basically said, hey, for lack of, giving you the words that they actually used, they had a pastime. And the pastime was making their brother fight people. They would just pick a kid and they
Oh
would
God.
make Michael fight them. And Michael had to. These boys, the other two brothers were, practically adults. Well, he comes up to me and slaps me. I'm sitting on my bike. I had a BMX bike, and I was actually working a deal to get new handlebar grips from a guy. And when he does, I'm like, hey, I don't like. I had nothing against you. I was really actually terrified. Didn't want to fight the guy by any stretch of the imagination.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so my father always told me, hey, if you don't have a reason to fight, walk away. Just walk
Okay.
away. So I was like, okay, all right. I was like, hey, I'm just going to go home. Well, they surrounded me and told me I either had to fight him or all of them. And at that point, I knew what I had to do. I didn't have a choice. And so we go back behind the gas station and they form like this little octagon circle of people around us. And, you got to take your shirt off. It's this whole thing, right?
Mhm.
And he was bigger than me. And he said, he threw up this weird little, like, I don't know. It's hard to say what he threw up in terms of his actual stance, but it was weird, and it was not what I'd been taught. And he said basically like hit first, right? Like swing first. And I said, well, ladies first. You have the bigger tits.
Justin language.
Sorry. This is my BC days, my before Christ days, and then I flinched at him, and when I did, he jumped back, and I knew I had him. I knew then I had him, and
Psychological warfare.
it did. Then the brothers chirped in. The brothers said, "Are you going to dance? Or are you going to fight? Because now we're going in circles. I'm waiting for him to come first." Right? My dad also taught me the goal in the fight is not to hit the guys to make the other guy miss, and then to get in control.
Your father
so
was a smart man.
Oh yeah, he was a professional bar fighter, and so at that point in time, I'm waiting for the chance to make a miss, and I'm looking for the advantage to take control because he is bigger than me and older than me, and the fight went the way it went. It ended. I actually got arrested. The 3 cop cars pulled up, handcuffed me, threw me in the car.
Justin's checkered past. I love this.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. It's actually one of the worst things that ever happened to me was winning that fight.
Oh,
because once that was over, and the part of town that I grew up in is kind of think white ghetto. We literally lived underneath a paper mill plant. And if you've ever been near a paper mill plant, it stinks to high heavens.
I know.
And so basically if you lived there, you had to. You didn't have a choice. Like that's just all you could afford. And so, you didn't have status symbols. You had your fist. That's it. And so once that happened, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, that's who beat up Michael Swolven? Well, I think I can take him. And it started this chain of event for 3 years where by the end of the not quite 3 years, 2.5 years, by the end of that time period, I was insanely paranoid, always thinking somebody was about to jump me or hit me. And it ended up creating a need for, smoking weed and stuff like that, which I, definitely did not, it was not good for me personally. So I know people have their place with it, but wasn't good for me. And but yeah, it was definitely not a great thing to win that fight.
It's funny. My dad is a black belt in karate, and I don't know how to fight like him. There's actually a funny small story. My father is a doctor. He's a neurosurgeon. So whenever we got sick, I have two brothers. Whenever we
Yeah.
got sick, we would wake him up and ask him for a medicine. But my dad was always prepared for an invasion. So we went like feeling sick to him, and you would dad, and you saw the floor.
Oh, wow.
It was like, Dad, it's me.
It's me. Yeah, that's hilarious.
But I remember that he's a very short guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so he always taught us to be smart in a fight, and I was never good at fighting, but I don't want to. It's not a bragging thing I'm gonna say now, but I believe myself as a smart man.
Yeah.
So I like to. I look at I look at the person that usually when the person is trying to get you, it's kind of like the trolls on the internet. Every time I have a troll on my website, I get happy because I know I'm doing something right. Because because the guy takes the time not to say something bad about your art.
Mm.
Like nobody comes to you when he wants to troll you to say, well, I don't like the anatomy of there. You see the feet and stuff. They go, your art is lame. That looks like a ripoff of somebody. It's always like that. It's so the guy that's trying to get under your skin is already nervous inside. So there was this one time that I was talking to this girl, and I think that the guy there wanted to hook up with her, and I was in the way. And she was interested in, I was not interested in her. I was just talking to her. And I was talking about my trip to Japan, and she's like, oh, that's cool. Can you speak some Japanese? And I said, okay. And I started to sing, to speak in Japanese. And she's like, the other guy looked at me and said, oh, you must think you're so, you must think, oh, what did he say? Because I remember in Portuguese saying this.
Yeah, you're good.
You must think you're so much. And I knew that when he said that he would be very angry if I answered like, well, I don't think I am so much. So you think you're better than that everyone? No, than everyone I'm not. But like compared to you, I'm so better, so much better.
Oh gosh.
And the guy looked at me and he couldn't answer. Because it was just like a mirror. There was this other guy that came to me, and he was it's kind of the same situation. He was interested in this girl that I was talking to, and he's like, this business of illustration doesn't give you much money, does it?
Oh gosh.
And I looked at him and say, well, what do you do? And he's like, I work with textile industry. He's like, his chest like that, I work with stamping, whatever he said he was working. I say, how many millionaire guys do you know that do what you do? And he goes, no one. So how many millionaire guys you know that do what I do? I said, well, maybe two. I say, so statistically, there's a bigger chance that I get rich, and you don't. And he couldn't answer and went away. So sometimes the best kind of fight. I had other stories.
It's like an
funny.
intellectual one.
It's like, okay, what's your point? Because when you get fed up with somebody, like if you get a discussion on politics, you're gonna shout, and the other person is gonna shout, and nobody's gonna agree. The is not a context. It's not when you get into a discussion with anybody about values, there's no way anybody is going to agree. So it's a contest of who shouts more, who gets the better argument. It's kind of like fifth
Yeah.
grade arguments.
I tell you, I want zero part of that. For me personally,
Mhm.
and this is where I'm at in life at the moment. I'm not saying I've always been here, right? But where I'm at the moment is like I can be right or I can be successful, but probably not both.
Oh yeah.
And if my goal is to like prove that you're wrong and I'm right, what have I really created? What have I really done? And there's a good chance that I've removed the possibility of what could be possible in the relationship
Yeah.
at some point down the road. And for me, like that's just where I'm at now. And I definitely have strong views and values and opinions, and my experience and everything that has happened to me has brought me there. Like, that's just true. And if you ask me, like, what do I think is best? I'm going to say, hey, this is what's worked for me. Like, and I don't have anything else to offer you. So that's it. But I don't want to come off as like, yeah, I got it figured out. Like somehow after 10,000 years of known history, this little 3.5 pounds of brain in North Louisiana that's been alive for 40 years has somehow come to the the conclusion that I know anything at all.
There's this thing that I like to do when I have a politic discussion with anybody. I always like better to discuss with people that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Because you learn something. I don't care if you're going to convince me. I don't care about your views per se, but I care about why you have your views. So if you're, let's say you're right wing and you have a friend that is very left wing, and you have, there's always something based on his mind that is the reason why his train of thought works, and the other way around.
Yeah. I mean,
Actually works.
If you want structure, like think of it, like I think of a tent, right? If I want structure for a tent, I got to have tension on both sides, and it gives it form, and we
That's a
can
good way to
occupy,
put it.
and we have space in it, right?
Mhm.
For me, I don't personally want to live in the extremes, but there's a good chance that someone else thinks that I am,
Oh yeah.
even though I don't think that I am. But I
Mhm.
do for me, don't want to discount the person who has the opposing view, because it's actually the opposing view that gives us form and structure to
Yeah.
occupy and exist in. And so in a way, even the person that I would think is the bad guy is serving the overall situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good for you to question your own values, because you have more, let's say, you have more terrain to cover.
Uh-huh.
Have more space to build your mind palace, let's say.
Yeah. Why do I think the way I think? What
Yeah.
is what's
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Um, oh, the unexamined life is not worth living.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Philosophy.
yeah, to examine it is part of what it means to live, and so that means you question it. For me, like stay in a state of curiosity of
A
why do I
funny
think this
thing,
way?
the X-Men taught me to think like that.
Oh, which can you explain? Can you elaborate?
I remember that when Beast was arrested. Remember the cartoon when
Oh
Beast
yeah,
gets arrested? First of all, he quoted Dostoevsky.
Is that the no sense in reasoning with closed minds?
I think so.
so I actually feel like I've watched this episode within the last like 3 to 5 years, and it was because he was wrestling with whether or not to take basically like something that would remove his mutant ability, right?
Something like that, yeah. And there was the senator that turned out to be the son of Sabretooth or something like that.
Williams, what was his name? Yeah,
His name was, I think it was Great and Creed or something like that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Creed.
Yeah. And and it was interesting to see like the politician that was trying to cure the mutagen was actually the son of a mutant. You know,
Mhm.
it's
And he did not want anybody to know. That's right.
yeah.
I
So
remember
yeah,
that now.
it's a good thing to put people in perspective.
We got
Okay, there's
Senator Robert Kelly. That's not from me. That's from our man behind the curtain.
Senator Robert Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was portrayed by Peter Dinklage, right? Or am I wrong?
I think that was Boulevard Trask,
Hmm.
Okay,
right?
okay. I think I'm almost done with my Wolverine.
I think time wise, I have probably a solid 15 minutes before I
Okay.
will need to run.
I got
But
to get a bike. I got to get a bike ride in. It's our first 60-degree weather in like what
yeah,
feels like 24 months here. Just
that's awesome.
But we went deep in the rabbit hole.
Oh
Was
yeah,
a fun conversation.
no, I
no, it was
appreciate it.
great soaking. I'm sorry I didn't contribute more. I was just soaking it all in. Definitely some awesome life lessons I'm going to start implementing. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Of course.
I don't know if you saw this one, dealing with the deep cut quote, bro, you're on fire.
Oh yeah, it's X-Men 90s, man. X-Men 90s animated series there's
Mhm.
plenty of them.
Uh-huh. All right. What's your plan with this, Andre? You're gonna wrap it up. What you gonna do with it then?
I think that it's almost done. Maybe I'll put some background to it so it doesn't just look like he's, just shouting at nobody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna post it on my Instagram or something like that.
Sweet.
Maybe
Okay.
I am not familiar where you guys buy prints, but I could be setting up a print shop if you guys are interested.
Yeah, I think so. I think people have developed a strong taste for your art in the Marvel car community.
It's good to know. I am quite new to this, so if people have any pointers, I will be super happy to get them. Because I want to do
Oh,
right by the community as well. I don't know
uh,
what's the do's and the don'ts. Bad Wizard is teaching me a lot of that. Thank you again for that.
yeah, I think Chris is from all that I know is pretty well attuned to
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that can be helpful. And yeah, I think you said it earlier. But if you strive for perfection, you kind of end up becoming the thing you hate. You
Yes.
know, and
Yes.
so at the same time, I'm like, you might teach us some new stuff that we could really
It,
implement into the hobby.
if I can, it will be my pleasure.
Mhm. Kent's
This is
got a
my
question
first
for
time.
Dylan. Oh,
Real quick, I'll address that in a second. This is my first time experiencing your art or seeing it firsthand. And Andre, it's gorgeous. So yeah, if you start
Thank you.
putting some artwork up, as long as it's a semi-classical version of Venom, I'd be very interested. As far as
Okay.
Marvel Guy's question, I don't have, no offense, this is a gorgeous drawing you're doing now, Andre, but I don't have a favorite Venomized character. If I could wipe all other symbiotes from existence, I would.
Is-
there can only be one.
right. Exactly. Yeah. No. I love Carnage now as I've gotten older, but I remember not even liking him. I didn't want anyone banking off the popularity of like Venom's power set or looking like Venom or anything like that. But
Mhm.
I don't have a favorite Venomized. If there's one character I like seeing Venomized, and it's not just because Andre is drawing it is Wolverine. Some of the depictions of Wolverine bonded to a symbiote are objectively very metal, very cool.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, it'd be Wolverine. But
Venom.
Carnage and Scream, Wolf of Venom. Carnage and Scream can stick around. All others I can do away with. There's oversaturation of the market as far as symbiotes, I think.
Yeah. Carnage is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
I
course. Yeah, he's a
I
great
wanted
antagonist.
to make the adamantium mixed with symbiote. That's why he's shining on the face and not
Oh,
only the claw.
that's
Yeah,
too cool.
yeah.
So I'm going to be sending Andre this Midnight Suns blank. Excited to send that to you. I'll talk to you about
Very cool.
you might want to do it. And I'm going to be also sending Andre these are Spidey Hits blanks. So nothing
Oh,
official
cool.
about that. Just my blanks that I had made. And Andre, if you want, I'm giving these to you. You know that, right?
Uh-huh.
But you'll have card stock that if somebody wants something on a trading card size that you'll have access to be able to use
Mm-hmm.
for them. So,
Thank you so much for this. You're
absolutely.
very kind.
I know that today, I think people have an even greater appreciation for what you do with art, which I think is great. And I think I think you hinted pretty strongly about the potential of being in a future set, which gives me a lot of joy to think about.
I'm already working on the future set.
Oh, okay.
I can't say which.
Oh, cool.
It's
No.
I am forbidden to say which, but there is a lot more than just Midnight Suns. I did, I think, 3 or 4 different sets. I think I did more than 30 images when this was being produced. So there's a lot more coming up this year.
Yeah, but Midnight Suns was the first that we've seen
Oh, yeah.
of your art.
Yes,
right? Okay, I
yes,
just want to
yes,
make sure
yes,
I
yes.
don't misrepresent
Yes.
that.
There's also Marvel manga I did for kaiju.
But not a
Kaiju.
trading card, not Marvel manga trading card.
I think so. I know they were out already.
If
but
you can send me any information on that, I would love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to make sure I'm not doing something I'm not supposed to. But if I'm
Yeah,
not
do that first.
mistaken, Julio was the art director from Upper Deck. He said they were already in the market. It's 4 cards. One of them I remember putting this giant monster on a Japanese environment where there's a volcano and people were taking a bath and looking at the monsters struggle. But it's not the same kind of art I'm doing here. It's more like figurative, and I think that people didn't respond as much as these more painterly ones.
Got you. I would love to see, because we have Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns, which tells me that Fleer Ultra has typically gone to like a Spider-Man set or an X-Men set, that kind of thing. Now, with the Avenger set, I would love to see a symbiote set, a Fleer Ultra symbiotes, like a Venomized set. I think would be really pretty cool as a structure.
I'll pass the message along.
Thank you. Yep. Fleer Ultra Wolverine. And then our man behind the curtain reminds me that Fleer Ultra Fantastic Four is on the table as something in the future.
Okay.
Kent wants me to look at my text. Oh, he wants me to show this Venomized Wolverine.
Nice.
I think that's a comic book cover. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Kent. Well, look, everybody, if you're not following Andre on Instagram, please do so. I think it's the Art of Meister.
It's can I put this on the chat?
Yeah, please do.
Meister _art.
I'll link it in the description as well, so people have that. Here we go. There you can see it. Meister.
You can. There's my. Do you guys like heavy metal by any chance?
I have a taste for it at times.
Okay, I have this musical project. Only has 2 songs so far. It's on Spotify and on YouTube. On YouTube, there are 2 video clips. I drawn the backgrounds myself.
So are you singing, writing, and playing an instrument in that?
I'm not playing. I don't play an instrument, but I am singing.
Okay.
It's the name of the band is Gospel of. Oh,
I did see that. I actually did see that.
It's plural. Gospel of Ghosts
with an S. Because when I deep dive when I first saw your art, I kind of deep dived into your Instagram and definitely saw that. Here, I'll put the correct one up there.
Okay. Yeah, there's a channel on YouTube. There's the 2 video clips. If you want to put on your list for your gym, actually that helps me because it makes the algorithm go up.
Are you doing any cons, or have you done any comic cons in the past, or is there anything you're going to be at in the future?
That's a hard question because it's in Brazil. Just so you have an idea, we have to spend 5 times more. Think about in bucks. what you buy with $300, we
Mhm.
can buy here with $300. But if I want to buy something from United States, if I go to United States, I have to spend 5 times the money.
Got you.
So if I go to a convention, I want to do this at some point,
Mhm.
but either I'm gonna have to go with sponsorship
Mhm.
or as a guest, or I'm gonna have to work on more cards.
That
uh,
part we can help with.
okay.
Right,
But
we
yeah,
can do that part.
in Brazil, there's Comic Con experience. I can't say that I will be there because there's the selection and they have their own criteria to select. So there are years that I can go. There are years that I just can't. But I'm hoping to go this year because of my comic book and all this stuff. And I can't promise this, but if things go well this year, I am thinking of going to Lightbox Expo that happens around Halloween in Pasadena, Los
Yeah.
Angeles. There's a very big convention for people that are working on the animation industry at the sorry, my brain is starting to slow down.
Yeah.
Animation and concept art.
Got you.
And I'm thinking about if you guys are interested, you guys, I mean everybody here that's watching, I'm thinking of opening my own mentorship for people not from Brazil, because I have my mentorship for Brazil, but I know there are people that are interested in learning art and all that stuff. So I'm thinking of opening that.
Yeah. I don't see any reason why you would limit yourself geographically.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're teaching online anyways, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Because this is the first time I get actually popular enough to reach this audience,
Yeah,
to
but man, I just love it. I'm sorry, I've got to respond. I got to get out of me. But that's the beauty of being in creation. It
Oh yeah,
creates. When you create, it creates. And
it
then
resonates.
you might reach someone else who then becomes a creator that creates.
Yeah.
To me, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Me too. I remember a quote by Tim Bradstreet. Are you
Mhm.
familiar with him?
No, not at all.
The guy from Vampire the Masquerade.
Sorry.
It's some. You just look him up. You're gonna love his stuff. His
Yeah.
name is Tim Brad's. Oh shit! Sorry. sorry. Tim Bradstreet. He's this amazing artist. He's kind of like the Crow, James O'Barr style, and he the visa from Brazil is not that hard. Not in my case, but I'll get there. He said something at the last con that I met him. He said, "We as artists feed off each other."
Mm.
We are constantly getting information from each other all the time. Like if you look at my stuff, you're gonna see a lot of Ashley Wood in it. My stuff is not the same thing as Ashley Wood. You're gonna see Russian painters in it. You're gonna see Italian painters like Giovanni Boldini in it, but it still has my personality. So that's the thing. There's a difference between copying and having a reference.
Well, there's no original.
Oh
art.
yeah, there is and there isn't.
Well, I mean, there is, but we're all inspired by something. Like there's an inspiration that happens, to draw a face is to have seen one.
Yes,
it's
yes. You can think of a color that you never seen.
Exactly, and you can't. If I don't know how to say it well, so forgive me, but I mean, if we never had eyes, ever, we wouldn't be able to explain or question the existence of light.
Yes.
And so
good point.
It's to create art or see artists to have seen it.
But it's interesting that we know there is a color named ultraviolet.
I know, isn't that something? Super special.
Can I answer one question that somebody asked me? Is about my class. you don't need specifically to try to have a career on that.
Mhm.
I what I like to do in my mentorship is trying to get the person to think as an artist. What I
Mhm.
mean by that is I want people to learn by themselves. I want people to, of course, I'm going to give you the information, all
Mhm.
that you need, and I am going to uh, make you go in the direction of somebody that could be a professional artist. But I have students that are just there for the fun, and the thing about being a good artist is more related to passion than anything else, in my experience.
Love it. Love it. Well, my friend Andre, I think we're going to wrap up the live portion of this show. Don't go.
Kind
I'm
of
sure the
Darth
viewers are
Vader.
having the same response.
Darth
Don't leave,
Vader.
though. Don't leave. Look, everybody, do me a favor you haven't done already. Go give Andre and We Are Venom Vault on Instagram a follow. Let these guys know how much you appreciate them for sharing their cards and their art and everything else that we shared this morning. Really, really appreciate it. If you haven't
Me
done
too.
so, hit the like button on this video. Always love to see that. But as always, I hope you have a marvelous day.